A young family of three, a father, a mother, and their 6-year-old daughter, embarked on what should have been a hopeful journey to start a new chapter in their lives. They pack up their belongings, leave their home, and head to a remote area in Oklahoma, full of plans for a fresh start. Days later, their truck is discovered abandoned in a desolate location, seemingly untouched. Inside, wallets, IDs, cell phones, an envelope containing $32,000 in cash, and their dog, Maisie, malnourished but alive. But the Jamison family? Gone without a trace. No signs of a struggle, no clear evidence of what happened, and no leads that made any sense. This isn't just a disappearance. It's a chilling mystery that grows darker with each piece of evidence, a story that has puzzled investigators and haunted the public for over a decade. What happened to Bois, Sherilynn, and little Madyson Jamison? How could an entire family vanish in broad daylight? And why, years later, when their bodies were finally discovered, were we left with more questions than answers? This is the case of the Jamison family. On October 17, 2009, deep within the Bois Mountains near Red Oak, Oklahoma, a group of hunters came across something that sent chills down their spines. A white pickup truck sitting abandoned on a remote dirt road. In a region known for its dense forests and isolation, the sight of an empty vehicle was strange enough. But the story hidden inside the truck was stranger still. Inside the truck, investigators found an assortment of personal items: wallets containing Bois and Sherilynn Jamison's IDs, mobile phones with no recent activity, a purse filled with everyday essentials, and most startling of all, an envelope containing $32,000 in cash. The cash was not hidden. It was simply there, waiting to be found. The truck's doors were locked, and its keys were missing, yet the scene inside seemed unnervingly normal. The investigators, however, quickly noted the absence of two other critical items: a briefcase known to be with the family and Sherilynn's registered handgun. With no signs of a struggle or foul play near the vehicle, detectives were left baffled. Also, there was Maisie, the Jamison family's dog. Found alive but severely malnourished, Maisie was curled up in the back of the truck, as if she had been waiting for her owners to return. Her condition spoke volumes. The truck hadn't been touched in days, and the family's absence was no ordinary disappearance. But where were Bois, Sherilynn, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madyson? Why would the Jamisons carry such a significant sum of money? And why would anyone abandon a truck with so many personal belongings inside? Law enforcement quickly launched a large-scale search. Helicopters buzzed over the dense woods, drones scanned from above, and search teams combed the uneven ground on foot. But the terrain was challenging: steep hills, thick underbrush, and miles of wilderness. The Bois Mountains are as unforgiving as they are vast, a perfect place for secrets to remain hidden. The family's GPS, retrieved from the truck, offered a glimmer of hope. Investigators discovered a waypoint, a location where the Jamisons had stopped, and focused their search efforts there. But even this lead brought no answers. The trail grew cold, leaving the abandoned truck as the only tangible clue to the family's last known movements. As days turned into weeks, the Jamison family's fate remained a mystery. Why was their truck left in such an orderly state? What prompted them to leave their belongings behind? And most haunting of all, where were they? As investigators dug into the Jamisons' personal lives, they uncovered a tangled web of conflicts, financial troubles, and peculiar behavior. The image of a quiet, loving family began to blur, revealing layers of tension and mystery that deepened the case. Bois Jamison, 44, had a deeply strained relationship with his father, Bob Jamison Sr. In court filings, Bois alleged that his father had made repeated violent threats against him and his family. One incident described in detail involved Bob allegedly attempting to run Bois over with a car. Beyond these threats, Bois claimed his father had connections to organized crime, fueling fears that the danger wasn't just personal, but possibly criminal in nature. These tensions came to a head in a lawsuit Bois filed against his father, accusing him of withholding wages from a gas station the two had co-owned. Friends described the elder Jamison as volatile, controlling, and capable of acts of vengeance. Could this bitter feud have escalated into something more sinister? Could Bob Sr., driven by anger and revenge, have orchestrated the murder of his son and his family? Investigators initially considered this theory plausible, given the threats and the timing of the family's disappearance. However, Bob Sr.'s advanced age and declining health made it unlikely that he acted alone, or at all. Adding to the intrigue, Bob Sr. passed away just 2 months after the Jamisons vanished, taking with him any secrets he may have held. Without concrete evidence linking him to the crime, the theory remains speculative. Did Bob Sr. have the means to arrange something sinister, or is this a red herring in an already complicated case? Then there was Sherilynn Jamison, 40, a creative woman who had faced significant personal struggles. Friends described her as warm and caring, but noted that in the months leading up to the disappearance, she had become increasingly erratic. In the truck, investigators found a letter Sherilynn had written to Bobby. It was filled with anger and resentment, expressing deep frustrations about their relationship. Adding to the mystery was surveillance footage taken from the Jamisons' home in the days before they disappeared. The video showed Bobby and Sherilynn repeatedly walking back and forth between their house and the truck, loading and unloading items. Their movements were slow, deliberate, almost trance-like. To investigators, it raised questions. Was this behavior a symptom of stress, paranoia, or something more unexplainable? Some friends claimed that the Jamisons had taken an interest in spirituality and unconventional practices. Sherilynn's mother, Connie Cocotan, added another layer of complexity to the case. She told authorities that her daughter had confided in her about feeling threatened by certain people, though Sherilynn never disclosed who these individuals were. Connie also mentioned that the family had been involved in what some described as unusual spiritual practices, and that Bobby was said to have developed a fascination with the occult, researching symbols and practices online. Also, another thing that raised eyebrows was the $32,000 in cash found in the Jamisons' truck. The first puzzling question was, who left the $32,000 in the truck? Bobby and Sherilynn were not known to have significant savings, and their financial struggles were well documented. Various theories emerged about the money. Was it the proceeds from selling their possessions in preparation for an off-the-grid lifestyle? Was it intended as a down payment for the 40-acre property they planned to purchase? Or was it evidence of something darker, such as involvement in illegal activities or a failed transaction? No receipts, records, or witnesses have ever come forward to clarify the source or purpose of the money. Also, why would a family on a simple trip to view property carry such a large sum of money? Some speculate the cash was connected to drug activity, particularly methamphetamine, which is prevalent in rural Oklahoma. The theory based on this suggested that the Jamisons might have been involved in, or victims of, a drug deal gone wrong. Their remote destination, combined with the unexplained cash, fits a profile seen in other drug-related crimes in the area. Yet, investigators found no evidence that the family had a history of drug use or involvement in drug trafficking. Another chilling theory that emerged is that the Jamison family's disappearance resulted from a murder-suicide. Some point to Sherilynn's letter expressing anger toward Bobby as a potential motive. Others cite the family's mental health struggles, financial difficulties, and isolation as contributing factors. Could the tension within the family have reached a breaking point? Sherilynn's missing handgun raised questions. Was it used to commit a crime? However, no evidence of gunshot wounds or other injuries was found on the skeletal remains. Ultimately, the murder-suicide theory remains unproven, leaving more questions than answers. Finally, some believe the Jamisons' deaths were the result of a tragic accident. The remote and rugged landscape of the Bois Mountains poses significant risks, especially to those unfamiliar with the terrain. Could the family have become disoriented, lost, and succumbed to hypothermia or dehydration? While plausible, this theory is complicated by the fact that their bodies were found lying side by side, face down, a detail that doesn't align with the typical behavior of individuals struggling to survive. 4 years after the Jamisons disappeared, on November 16, 2013, hunters discovered skeletal remains in a remote area less than 3 miles from where the family's truck had been abandoned. The remains belonged to 2 adults and a child. Forensic testing confirmed what many had feared. The remains were those of Bois, Sherilynn, and Madyson Jamison. However, the discovery brought more questions than answers. Due to advanced decomposition, no cause of death could be determined. Forensic examiners found no visible signs of trauma on the bones. No gunshot wounds, no blunt force injuries. The circumstances surrounding their deaths remained as mysterious as their disappearance. The positioning of the remains also raised more questions. The bodies were found lying side by side, face down, as if placed deliberately. Was this the work of a killer staging the scene? Or could the family have succumbed to natural causes, huddled together in their final moments? Despite exhaustive forensic analysis, no answers emerged to explain the Jamisons' final moments. Theories of foul play and accidental death both faced challenges, leaving the case in an eerie state of limbo. For the Jamisons' loved ones and investigators alike, the discovery of their remains brought closure to one chapter but opened another. How did they die? And why? With all these evidences, the most haunting question remains: what led the Jamison family into the woods that day, and how did they meet their tragic end? Theories of foul play are compelling, given the odd circumstances, the locked truck, the missing items, and the positioning of their remains. Yet, no conclusive evidence supports a violent confrontation. The theory of accidental death, though plausible, raises its own questions. Why were their remains so close to the truck, yet missed during the initial searches? Why were they found lying side by side, as if placed deliberately? And then there is the question of intent. Did they wander into the wilderness voluntarily, or were they coerced? The dense forests of red oak keep their secrets well, shrouding the family's final moments in mystery. The discovery of the Jamisons' remains in 2013 answered one question: where they had gone, but opened the door to countless others. No cause of death, no confirmed motive, and no suspects. The case remains officially unsolved, a testament to the limits of forensic science and human understanding. For their loved ones, the lack of answers is an enduring pain. For investigators, it's a constant reminder of the mysteries that refuse to yield to scrutiny. In the absence of definitive evidence, theories are all we have. The Jamison family's case has become a canvas for speculation: a murder by a vengeful father, a drug deal gone wrong, a tragic accident, or even something more otherworldly. Yet, with each theory comes a frustrating lack of proof. The truth lies somewhere in the tangled web of facts and conjecture, waiting to be uncovered, or perhaps lost forever. So, what really happened to the Jamison family? We may never know the answer. The dense woods of red oak remain silent, holding their secrets tightly. The Jamisons' story is a chilling reminder of how easily lives can vanish, leaving only echoes and unanswered questions. For now, we are left with speculation and a sense of unease, a mystery that refuses resolution. What really happened to Bois, Sherilynn, and Madyson Jamison? That is a question only time, or a stroke of luck, may ever answer.